Good morning and happy Monday, wherever you are, if it's Monday. Sorry if I look a bit shagged and sweaty. I just finished the workout of death. So I'm just, I don't know how the rest of my day is going to go because I feel like I expended all of my energy in the last 45 minutes. I had a very interesting thought come into my head over the weekend about I guess the collective positivity or negativity that surrounds you and the people that surround you. And it's a very normal thing when it comes to making decisions in life, and it's making decisions about, something that excites you, and a lot of it, a lot of things that excite you that you're making decisions towards obviously have an air of having to step outside your comfort zone, do something a little bit risky. I will use a perfect example of why this thought sort of came into my head over the weekend is because that we have decided to buy a puppy. And it's something that we've thought long and hard about for a couple of years, ever since we moved to the current place that we're in now, because we were allowed a dog. And obviously we have Teddy, he's about 3.5 now, and he's getting to the age where he's actually, and he has for a while, really loved dogs, and especially big dogs as well. I've got a mate who's got a couple of dogs, and he's just obsessed with them. Every time he comes across a big dog, he just absolutely loves them. And when we asked what he wanted from Santa this year, the first thing he said was a dog. And the boy asks and he shall receive, just with about everything, because he's pretty spoiled and we love him to death. We want him to be happy. So we kind of didn't even think twice about it. We're like, okay, well, that's really the push that we just needed to start figuring out that process. So it's literally been a period of about a week, and we've gone and found a puppy, bought the puppy. Now we're just waiting to pick it up for Christmas to give to our boy. And so don't tell him if you ever come across him, but you probably won't. But the very interesting thought that I had over the weekend is that when we started to tell people that we were buying a puppy, the thing that I find really interesting, and what I find really interesting about sort of society and how you engage with people and what their thoughts are about things, is the type of feedback you get. And all in all, getting a puppy for us was a long thought out process. We thought about every single factor, our work-life balance, the time and attention we would be able to give the dog, the time and attention we would be able to give to Teddy and the puppy, what it would be like when we were traveling, like all of these things. It was a long thought out plan. Like, we're 30 something years old, we're in our mid-30s, we've had businesses, we know how to plan things, we've been broke, we've made our money back, we've done many things in life, we've traveled around the world. So we've thought long and hard about the process, thought about every single factor of it, and it got to a point where we're like, hey, we just need to stop thinking about it. We really want one, Teddy really wants one, let's just get one, and it's going to make us happy. Besides all the noise that goes on in the background, and the noise I'm talking about is kind of the collective opinion of those that surround you. And I'm not saying that they're a negative thing, because they're not. And this is what your loved ones and friends in life do to protect you. And it comes down to everything. It comes down to whether you're buying a puppy, it comes down to whether you're starting a business, it comes down to whether you're traveling the world, whether you're buying a home, whether you're buying a car, whether you're getting in a relationship. Every single thing you could think that takes a decision that might be a little bit risky to step outside your comfort zone, you're always going to get feedback about, is that the best idea because of this? Oh, you're not going to get any sleep. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. 99% of businesses fail after the first 3 years. People go overseas and get robbed, or they get lost, or they get killed, or they get their organs stolen, or like, you name the things that people can come up with that is a negative collective. And it's purely there to protect you. It's a bit like it's the, when I say collective, it's because everybody has that little part in their brain called the amygdala, which has been developed over thousands of years to mitigate risk. It's your fight or flight mechanism, and that's the first thing that everybody calls to when they think about something that's maybe a little bit risky, stepping outside their comfort zone. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? This is going to be bad, that's going to be bad, this is going to be bad. And there's a very small group of people that lean towards the pot and go, oh my God, that's absolutely fantastic. Teddy's going to be so happy. You guys are going to be so happy. How cute to have a puppy. What an exciting time. I remember what it was like when I got a puppy when I was a kid. Or, oh my God, you're starting a business. Like, imagine if it becomes successful, and like how well developed you're going to be, the person you're going to turn into. Very little people lean towards that direction. It's always our first kind of instinct and response to be like, point out the negative things and the risk factors and all this sort of thing. Which I'm saying is completely normal. And I've actually been hired for contracts to do that in an operations perspective, to point out financial risk, do mitigation, like risk mitigation strategies and all that sort of thing. It's a natural thing. And I think the reason I'm so good at that is because I've grown up in a family where we've always been a little bit cautious to be like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And all it does is really hold back your true potential, not just for success, but for overall general happiness. Because I noticed shifts in my mood over the last week where we would say, I'm getting a puppy or this or that. And then we'd have like, oh, you know, you're not going to be able to go on holidays anywhere. Oh, you're not going to be able to do this. Oh, you're not going to, you know, it's going to keep you away. You know, it's going to piss everywhere. It's going to shit everywhere. All of these things that just bring your mood down and go, I was so excited about telling you this and getting a puppy and all these sort of things, and just throwing all these things into my head that have shifted my mood in a negative direction. So if I could get one thing out of this collective, I guess, risk mitigation and what's the other word I'm looking for? Risk mitigation and overall kind of general collective negativity, which is your community's protection mechanism for you and for yourself, is to take it with a grain of salt. Because what happens is, in those situations, especially like from a business perspective or a traveling perspective, or going out and following your dream, stepping outside your comfort zone, getting out of a job to start a business, or quitting your job to go traveling and be a photographer, or whatever it might be, like finding out what your true purpose is and your desire is, and things that make you happy, even if it's just a material thing like a car or a dog or whatever. If you've thought about it and you've calculated the risk, and you know it's a great decision that's going to send your mood in the right direction, like, it's something you just got to go for and you got to shoot for. Yes, you got to take all the feedback and criticism, because that's a very important aspect too, especially from like the business and the strategy perspective and the traveling perspective and the dog perspective, because it's like people are going to have valued opinions. It's like, well, you really got to look out for this when you have a puppy, for these particular reasons. When you travel, you've really got to look out for these things for these particular reasons. When you start a business, man, remember these are the things you got to keep track of. They're all very valuable things, but you can't bring that in as negativity. You need to bring it in as like constructive criticism and make sure that you've calculated the risk correctly and you're going to keep moving in the positive direction. And Courtney and I are really good at that, because we've been through that for like about a decade of our lives, because we've always gone traveling, started businesses, had all these crazy ideas, and our family have got to the point where they're stopped being like, oh, do you think that's a good idea, to being like, well, okay, it's just Courtney and Tom, that's just what they're going to do, because we avoided the noise and we pushed back on the noise. We were like, well, no, this is the direct, we want to try these things. We want to try them out, even if they fail. Like, and that's the things that you need to do. Like, if you, I'll keep bringing it back to the puppy. Like, if you want to get a puppy and just going to give you overall joy in your heart because they're so cute and whatever, and then you get it and it cries every night, shits everywhere, pisses everywhere, becomes a nightmare and barks, it's a lesson learned. But overall, it's an experience. Otherwise, what's the point in not doing it because somebody else said you shouldn't? Like, you're going to come across those things so many times in life, and you need to just take the risk yourself and figure it out yourself. And it's a bit like when I talked about parenting a couple of videos ago, when you're leaning on the edge of risk. Like, say if Teddy's walking along a rock wall that drops into some water, and we go, be careful, don't do that, don't do this. Like, if he doesn't maybe fall off that little shelf and into the water and have a bit of a cry, like, he's never going to figure out what that risk felt like. Or he might have jumped down, got little butterflies in his belly, thought that was absolutely fantastic, I'm going to jump off everything that I see and I'm going to become really good at it. So I'll just leave it there. It's just one of those things. I wanted to make people really conscious of your the collective negative and criticism that comes from around you, because it's always going to be there. It's a natural thing. People are just trying to help you, but that's the thing you got to realize. It's acceptance, awareness of it. Like everything to do with your mental state, it's awareness that it's there, awareness that this criticism and feedback and risk mitigation is going to come in, accepting that it's the fact that those people are really trying to help you, but then being confident and conscious in your own decision and just making the decision to go forward. Because if you don't try, you don't know. If you don't fail, you don't succeed. And if you don't figure those things out for yourself, you would never know whether that thing made you the happiest person on the planet or it wasn't for you. And you move on to the next thing. Happy Monday. Enjoy your week.